Welcome back, guys. And in this video, we are going to talk about my Solent trip that I had on the 8th of November last year. The reason for this video is I have quite a few people asking, oh, what's it cost to run? How much is it to launch? Can you just pull it in the sea? Can you just, what's the costs? You know, they're eager to find out because they're interested. You know, they're interested in the associated costs. And I get scared when I work costs out. When I have to sit down and work the costs out to do a video, yeah. One of the lads, Chris, he actually worked out, I think, penny for penny, pretty much what he would spend on like fuel costs, trailer parking. I think he included maintenance as well. I'm sure he's going to do a video of it all soon. And I think it was something like £5,000 for the year, but that was various trips throughout the year. But in this video, we're purely concentrating on one day's worth of boating from Warsash Slipway to the Hamble, around that area, up to the Needles, and pretty much back in one day. So yeah, it was a bit of a choppy day. The conditions were a bit choppy. We was hammering it. We're not at a certain set cruising speed. I've done this trip a couple of times before, so I know that two full tanks of fuel had 50 litres, 50, 60, 70 litres on board. I know that is more than enough, if not double more than enough, for the trip I'm doing. So we're not, in this video, we're not going to be talking about cruising speeds, burn rate per litre, per gallon, and all that is purely cost based on what it cost for one day. So looking at my list in front of me, but first we're going to talk about the Airbnb and the meal out. So I travelled down the night before, booked an Airbnb, because if I was to go on the day of the trip, it would mean getting up at, say, probably 4 o'clock in the morning, driving down to Southampton, putting the boat in the water, having the day on the water, and driving back on the same day. That is a very, very tiring day. For me, anyway. I'm sure there's younger folk and maybe, probably older folk out there that are an Energizer buzzer, an Energizer bunny in the morning, and still when they get home late at night. Me, I can't hack that, you know. So for me, it's easier booking an Airbnb the night before, close to the slipway, so I don't have to get up as early. So with this, the Airbnb, looking at my list, is £46.78. That was to stay the night there before. I then had a meal out. That came to £17.50. So that's pre-trip. So we're into, say, around about £60 to £70 pre-trip. We're not on the water at this stage. We then got the fuel to tow the boat there and back. So it's a 2010 Honda CR-V. It's a 2.2 six-speed manual, cruise control and whatever else. And we're towing it about a steady 60 mile an hour. And I worked it out, which isn't bad. So we're looking at about £60 round trip to tow to Southampton and back. And this is from Gloucestershire down to Southampton. So it's 2.5 hours there, 2.5 hours back. 60 quid isn't bad. Not with cruise control on for much of the journey, but, we need to get to places. So yeah, £60 in diesel. We've then got the harbour master. So when we get to the slipway, we have to pay the harbour master, which pays for the upkeep of the River Hamble and wildlife and every other thing that's you're paying for the harbour master. So that's £6. So when the boat's in the water, we need to then find somewhere to keep the car. Where are we going to put the car for the day? In a car park. So car parking, we have £8.80 for the day. I think that was up to 12 hours. I could have saved a couple of quid by putting, say, 8 hours on the meter, but I just put 12 hours just in case. Why not? You know, but I could have saved a couple of quid there. So then we are using the boat on the water. We then have fuel for the boat. And I estimated that I used probably, I think, around 30 to 40 pounds worth of fuel. Because where we was going, I knew that we wasn't going far, but we're pushing on through the conditions, through the trop, against the winds, in places against the tide as well. So yeah, fuel was around about. It was, I would say, less than £50 for the day. That's pretty much it. So we've got. I'll just do a recap. So we've got the Airbnb, that was £46.78. I had the meal out, that was £17.50. We got the Harbour Master at £6, the parking £8.80, fuel for the boat round about. I'm going to cap that about £50. £60 in diesel, towing there and back, and that comes to a total of £187.37. We call it 190 because I like round numbers. If it wasn't for the Airbnb and if it wasn't for the meal out at £17.50, this would have come to about £125. Is that a lot? For me, yes. I'm skint boater. I try and cut costs where I can. I'm not a man of wealth. Um, I, I can't afford all these trips all the time. But when you look at the breakdown of costs and look where you can perhaps save money, it's doable. You could look at slipways that are free, where you don't have to pay the harbour master. You can maybe look around the area for free car parks. You could maybe look at using less fuel by taking, say, more stuff out of the boat. You could perhaps put a lighter anchor in there. You can maybe not take as much stuff, not take as much wet weather gear. You can maybe look at taking less fuel. But why? Why should we? I think it's good to have everything in place. It's good to have more stuff in the boat. It's good to have extra fuel. Why? Because you might end up having to, say, tow somebody back. You might have a fuel leak because you're using more fuel. Somebody might run out of fuel. I transfer them some fuel, so on, so on. There's a lot of scenarios as to why I don't leave stuff out, and we don't want to compromise on safety, quality, and all that sort of stuff. So I'm happy with the way the boat is, what's in the boat. So I wouldn't be looking to take stuff out, but it's an option to save money. The diesel there and back, okay, yeah, I could probably save a little bit of fuel towing there and back. I mean, the boat is I think just over half a ton on the trailer. So if I was to strictly stick to the cruise control at 60 mile an hour, I could probably knuckle down on saving a couple of pounds there. But again, we need to get to places. We're eager to get on the water. So, and it was a Friday, so I call it Foot Down Friday. So we're keen to get to that slipway, or to the Airbnb, in my instance. So yeah, £187, well, 190, as I just said. That's with the Airbnb, or without the B&B. You're looking at about £125 for a day on the water. So yeah, that's the cost for one day on the sea. So as I do more trips, I will do more of a breakdown in cost. I'll try not to, because quite frankly, it scares me and it'll put me off boating for life. So yeah, if you've not seen the video of my Solent trip, it is posted a couple of videos down here somewhere. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.